She's all right when you get to know her. This is my podcast, and it takes you from your restrictive, toxic, life-limiting 9 to 5 into a life on your terms, full of freedom and flexibility as a self-employed virtual assistant. So whether this is your first introduction into the possibility of becoming a VA, or perhaps you've been doing a bit of Googling already, I'm going to get rid of the overwhelm, rid of the self-doubt, and show you that this life is possible. I've not just started this rodeo, you know. I'm Catherine Gladwyn, and I've been doing what you think is impossible since 2015. Shall we get started? So I know that this episode is going to be so popular because we're tackling a question over 50% of aspiring and new VAs have: how to juggle being a virtual assistant with children. Now, even if you haven't got children, I do recommend you listen, because things do happen in our lives. You know, parents get ill, or, you know, we get ill, and it's still about juggling something that is a nuisance, basically. But that title in itself was hard enough to think up. I asked the people in my Facebook group, I always go to them if I need anything, you know. So I asked them for their thoughts on the title, because I just know that this episode is going to be popular. And first of all, I add, is it possible to be a virtual assistant with children? And only 10% like that one. So then I add, how to juggle children as a virtual assistant. And then all of them come out thinking they're hilarious. And one of the members, Marnie, she is funny actually, used her new AI skills to create a graphic of a woman actually juggling children and a laptop. So I thought, well, I can't go with that. And I also promised that with the winning name, I would call out a name of somebody that chose it. But given that I've gone with a completely different one, I'm just going to call myself out for choosing how to juggle being a virtual assistant with children. So I've won that competition, and I will be sending my...
I love that. I've won.
Yeah, I've won. And I will be sending myself a huge box of hotel chocolate. So well done to me. Anyway, let's crack on. You've heard somebody laughing in the background, and it's not, I did not rent an audience. There is somebody here with me. So even though I'm now, well, not now, I've always been, you know, it feels like it. But my daughter was in her teens when I started my business as a VA. So it was easy for me. I mean, I could just shout, get your own bloody snacks. But how easy, in inverted commas, is it for new mums or mums to be? And, you know, let's not forget aunts, grannies, carers, foster carers, anybody who may be embarking on this journey as full-time carers. I'm joined today by none other than Caroline Marshall, founder of Upsource, which is a multi-award-winning VA agency. Absolutely amazing. Mum of 2, wife, and looks absolutely incredible in cobalt blue. How are you, Caroline?
I'm really well today, and you can just say nothing else, but I look incredible in cohort blue, so thank you.
Oh my God, you do. You do. I think it was in the Light Bulb PR group that we're both in. I think,
Oh, yes.
yeah. Do you know? No, it wasn't. We were in an article together, weren't we?
We were! I forgot about that. That was years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, they put you in cobalt blue, I think.
They put me in blue. It's clearly my colour, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
I really tried to keep that outfit, Catherine, but they weren't having it.
No, they put me in this god-awful outfit with a tie bow neck thing, and I'm like, I do not wear bows. I didn't say that. I just went with it to just have my makeup done. Yeah, they got your colour spot on. They obviously didn't like me.
Oh, no. They're trying to tell you something. Wear more bows.
Wear more. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. But so, Caroline, firstly, thank you for being here, because with 2
Thanks for
children,
having me.
it's a pleasure. When you said yes straight away, I was like, brilliant, let's get her booked in now. So I just wanted to start from the beginning, if that's okay. So I've been doing my research, and hopefully I remember this right, but you returned to your employed role 8 weeks postpartum after your first baby.
Yeah.
And then you go on from that.
And then it went downhill from there. No, it went downhill the minute I got pregnant, in all honesty.
No.
Not my babies. So sorry, I should really rephrase that. I love my babies.
Well, there's honesty for you.
They're not so much babies, still little, but not babies. But no, I like to say I got pregnant untimed, not unplanned. So I managed to get pregnant about a year earlier than I'd planned to. And so it meant I was 4 months postpartum when I got married. But it also meant I'd just been promoted in a virtual assistant agency, actually. I started there as a VA, then helped them build, went really client side. Turned out, had a knack with the clients. I really enjoyed things like geeky things like client onboarding and offboarding. And they didn't have a maternity policy in place when I got pregnant. Obviously, they had to bring one in. It was only statutory. But I think something that's probably not spoken about enough is, I obviously I was going to go ahead with it. Like, I wanted children. It was just a year earlier than planned. It's not ideal, but we weren't financially ready. And I was kind of looking at the long-term prospects, and I had a few career women in my family and my mother-in-law. And I just thought, oh, I can do this. I can go back to work at 8 weeks, part-time, although I was being hassled full-time. And went back, and it was awful. I can't lie. We talk about this a lot on the podcast because I think a lot of founders struggle taking maternity leave, and that it's not really maternity leave, but being employed is next level because you were employed with someone, and it was two young guys who had no clue. And I got given an advisor to support me because they did a 360 review on me when I was 12 weeks postpartum. Turns out everyone hated me. I really have no filter, Catherine. I've really got to start.
No, what the hell? Why?
Yeah, and I was just really struggling, and I managed to pick it up after that. Everyone wants to be liked, don't they? I really don't like being disliked. So I really worked hard on myself to try and come back from that. And I did a good job, to be fair. But I still, long term, I didn't suit them anymore. I wasn't allowed to come back less than 5 days a week. I knew that. Obviously, people are careful about that, what they say, but that was made clear. So I was 5 days a week from 12 weeks. My baby being 12 weeks, just ending the fourth trimester, it's now called. And yeah, I got made redundant when he was 10 months old, which it was handled really badly, like very, very badly. And they knew it was bad because I managed to negotiate my pay. So I had a lot more pay for my redundancy than my maternity leave. So yeah, that's how it worked out with my first child as a VA employed.
How on earth did you come back from that? You're so right. We all want to be liked, and there's been a lot about this with the extra attention on neurodiversity as well, that we do a lot of masking and mirroring. Whether you're neurodiverse or not, we all do it in some way, some
Yeah.
mirroring or masking to fit in. Whether it's when we were children or whatever. That must have been bloody traumatic for that. I don't even want to call it feedback. It's not. It's a reflection. It's
Yeah. Yeah, it was really, and it's funny now because one of the girls who filled it in, who I know about, but she, like, we've been friends, like, we've connected since. We've helped each other out. So I helped give her some advice when she was taking maternity leave because she ended up starting her own VA business as well because it didn't work out, and it didn't work out for anyone at this business. But I've sent her baby clothes, and it wasn't a reflection on me. It was really a reflection on the culture, and everyone is angry, and I was a scapegoat during my most vulnerable time, and
yeah.
so I don't know. It took a lot of years and a lot of therapy to come.
Yeah, I can imagine, it's so true, isn't it? It's like when people say be kind,
Mm. Yeah.
but how
Yeah.
about instead of telling somebody to be kind, we say, "How are you? Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes a reason why they're being unkind to you, or and as in the case with this woman, it wasn't naturally her. Like you say, your acquaintances now,
Yeah.
you've done wonderful things for her. It was more a reflection on how she felt, how
Yeah.
shit she felt. So
Yeah. And we all were in this environment, and that's the thing. And that never should have happened, basically. And that's one of the reasons I think we could negotiate maternity pay and stuff. And I didn't sign an NDA, so I can talk about this stuff.
yep.
But it's good. I think that was truly rock bottom, let's say, in that particular season. I've had several, let's say. I think, you only manage to go on and achieve great things by going through rock bottom and really learning about yourself. Because I
Oh my god.
wasn't
Yeah,
perfect, but learning about yourself, learning about how others, environments, and about changes at the end of the day. Like I said, with neurodiversity, it's the same when you have a baby, your brain changes. So yeah, I'm always all about shouting this awareness and supporting others now because I don't think that was okay.
absolutely. We joke about, "Oh, my hormones are all over the place," but, those
Oh,
hormones play a massive role in functioning day to day.
Mm.
And also the bit that you said about, I can't recall it verbatim, but basically when something bad happens, often something good comes out of it. And I think
Mm.
that's something you learn when you get a bit older. What do you think? 30s? Something like that?
Yeah, I think your 30s, because I was just turned 30 at this point, and I think I've learned. I mean, it's also I do human design. I love human design. It's also part of my human design markup that I learn all my lessons until I get to 30, and then my 30s is where I've I do a lot better because I've learned the lessons.
Yeah.
And I do think your 30s, especially if you're that's where your parenting era comes in and stuff. You just start to be like, okay, right. I can get my shit together as long as I work on myself a bit and get given that time and space, which I think that's the hard part about motherhood. You're not in those early years.
Yeah, and I think the 20s, a lot of it can be, real deep anxiety and,
Mhm.
you know, critiquing yourself and wondering who you are because you've not sometimes a lot of people have, but some people haven't quite realized that they can cope with things. They fear that they've not got the coping skills. They want a crystal ball and they don't realize how bloody brilliant they are. And I think
Yeah.
once you've been through then something, really stressful, really quite traumatic, you then realize, "Do you know what? I dealt with that brilliantly, and look at me now."
Yeah.
And so, God knows where you were then. I mean, you very openly said that baby came along a year before you'd planned financially. So even though you had redundancy, what happened? What was that transition from see you later, packet of money in your back pocket, and
Oh, I wish it was a packet. I think we could call it a small envelope because my husband has been made redundant twice. He's in the tech world, so it's quite, common, and he's
yeah.
had very nice packets. So what I had kept me ticking along for 3 months to find my next move. And actually, I said this to someone the other day on a podcast, was that I went into knee-jerk mode. "Oh, I'm gonna have to take my kid out of nursery," which you start to feel like because it's their environment, you start worrying about changing their routine. When you're a mum, it's not about you anymore. It's about the family and and for me, I was like, and my husband was like, no, let's not knee jerk reaction. We don't need to remove him from anything straight away. And I ended up going to work at a friend's family business. I think it's so funny, like weeks after when I was still like talking about what to do, my dad was like, oh, you could start your own VA business. I was like, nope, never doing that, never going back to this industry, not for me. He was like, okay, that's a no. And so I went to go work for a friend's family business, and looking back, it wasn't the right fit, but in my head, I was like, look, I tried to be a career woman. I'm saying that you can't see me, but with like what those things, bunny ears called. Like I tried to do that. It didn't work out. I think I'd felt I'd made all the wrong choices for my child. I think I'd failed motherhood, not just failed my career. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll just go work somewhere 4 days a week, have Fridays with my little boy, and just keep up my skills. And they really wanted me because they really needed admin help, and they'd never got it right in their business. It was like an old family business, and culturally it just wasn't the right fit. And I kind of knew that but ignored it. But then when COVID happened, they were in person, and they're not in modern businesses. I've worked in comms before. They'll be like, look, no one knew what was happening in COVID, and in bigger businesses, they'll be like, okay, we don't know what's happening. Please bear with us. We're just going to try and support you. With this business at the time, I was just at home and on unpaid leave. I did end up getting furloughed, which was great. And so it all worked out, but for a month, I was like, I am jobless for the second time in my life, and that's happened within the first 18 months of motherhood, and I was like, the universe is clearly telling me something. Oh, and then pregnant with my second, I realised 2 weeks into lockdown as well.
the stress.
Yeah, when people say motherhood doesn't get easier, like I now have a 5 wait, how are my kids? No, a 4. I'm telling you all this, I'm clearly not okay. I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. I think it's because my second was born in 2020, so I see it as 2025, but he was December, so he's still 4. A 4-year-old, and I'm like, it is so much easier than those years for me, and I think I really hate generalizations. I think it comes from when people are in a hard place, they're like, "Oh, it doesn't get any easier," and I'm like, it really does, because we went through so much in those years. I mean, my first baby was only 18 months when COVID lockdown happened, and he turned into a toddler, and and obviously the job losses, and then we haven't even gone on what happened to my second child yet. But it was too much. But somehow I decided to channel that into being a VA again.
I don't know how any parent coped during lockdown. I don't know what they need, some sort of George Cross medal or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, because after what happened to our second child, I did a lot of work, but so I've had a lot, and I can really talk about it and really understand what I went through, and that's okay. But when I mention it to other parents who had similar seasons as me, they kind of look a little bit glazed over behind the eyes. I honestly think there's a whole bunch who still aren't okay from that period.
So you are pregnant with
Yes,
your second child, and
yes,
you decide to launch a business.
yes. That's normal
Okay.
behaviour, Catherine.
Oh, totally normal behaviour.
Yes. So to give a little bit of background, financial independence, that is hugely important to me. But what I really felt hard was like I'd failed on the career front, because we're all like quite career women, my friendship crew, and like really passionate about that. But it was like I'd failed. It really was like I've done such a bad job at this, and it's not like the system is failing me at all. And yeah, so I was just like, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to reach out to people I've worked with. And I'm not superwoman, by the way, because I did get sick in my first trimester, but I remember feeling really bad because I couldn't engage with anything. So I only did bits of work when my child was napping, and I didn't even do it every day because I was feeling horrendous. So I took it really slowly in that first trimester and reached out to people. But as I started to emerge, and my first trimester came timed with ending of the first lockdown, where we could go out in the summer and stuff. So it was really well timed with that I had clients. I got myself fully booked within April, 3 months. And that summer, which was when we officially launched, was in that summer, because I decided, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to come up with a business name, I'm going to have a website, I'm going to do it all the right way. I had a goal in mind that I wanted to be the UK best newcomer VA.
I love that. I absolutely love that, because you're going to get like questions from people. So I'm going to butt in here. So
Yes.
you were booked out within 3 months. Now, was there a secret thing that you did that nobody has ever told anybody else about? What did you do to get booked out in 3 months?
There is no secret. I had no shame, Catherine. And neither did my husband, by the way. He told all his friends I was starting it. He put it on LinkedIn. He was like, get on next door. There's people that contacted from a post my husband did for me. And I emailed old employers. So there's no secret. Timing was great. And also putting myself out there in the way that you teach.
Caroline and I have got our cameras off. We're just recording the audio, and we've not spoken about this recording beforehand. I did send Caroline through a list of questions just so that she could let me know if she wanted to add anything to them or anything. But we did not speak about this. This is totally off the cuff, because there are people that think that there's a magic formula, that there's something they're not doing, but it really all is just marketing and audience building, a relevant audience, and just telling everybody. And I've got something coming soon, actually, Caroline, that
Oh,
my audience are going to love. I'll tell you it when we turn the recording off.
oh yes.
And Caroline also said she got a website. You need a website. You absolutely need a website. Unless you've got like an influencer as your first client that can tell all of their thousands of followers about you, you need a website, because it allows people to get to know, like, and trust you. It's a massive element. So I am smiling from ear to ear that we got that question, because I know that people will be like, oh, 3 months. She must know something nobody else does.
No, no, and I didn't do the website myself, so I outsourced things. I didn't invest much. I probably invested, it was less than £1,000, to be transparent, in setting up my business, but contracts, because they're important, obviously, and website. But I didn't build my website because, I just, no first trimester woman has time for that. Respect if you do.
Yeah, and do you know, it's I've got my WordPress course. A lot of the VAs do. It's only £59, and it's the skill that they learn from that. But you do sometimes have to think, have I got the time for this? Am I going to really put myself under pressure? And I think what I like about your story is it's honest. You weren't gifted in the sense that you you had the time, you had the money behind you, life was easy, your child was in daycare 7 days a week,
That would be
something like
lovely.
that. Imagine do you know, you've done the hard work, you've given birth to it, everybody else can sort it now,
Yeah.
but this way, you had massive obstacles in your way, and I wish that didn't happen for you, but I'm glad it did for the purpose of this podcast, because anybody listening can see that it is possible for them as well.
Yeah.
This is possible. It really is. So I've got to jump forward a little bit. I hope I've not missed anything out. But you had your redundancy after the first baby. You got the COVID redundancy, or furlough as it was called, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You've got an 18-month-old. You're pregnant again.
Oh God.
You decide. Sorry.
I just said, "Oh God, yeah."
Yeah,
I'm just hearing it back. It's so
yeah, you wouldn't want to do it, would you? So then you set up your own business. I mean, you didn't need the childcare, or you couldn't utilize it because it was lockdown. But childcare in the UK is the second most expensive in the world.
Mm,
And so this was in 2020. You started your business,
yeah.
and then come 2023, Caroline then becomes an agency, and with a team of 30,
Yeah.
30.
Yeah. The growth was quite insane into 2022. Yeah.
And have you still got 30 now?
I've got 36 now.
Right, so I'm not ever having anybody say, "Oh, it's getting really difficult to get clients," because it's not. It's absolutely not. So, right, you are amazing, absolutely amazing. I wish we'd become acquaintances before. I
I
really do.
know. We
You
should
just
yeah, my bad. I was
No, you just get all stuck in your own business, don't you? And you know,
Yeah.
you you forget to do things. Right, so I've already mentioned my Facebook group, and I know you're in there as well, Caroline. And they're just a really lovely lot. And my rockers as well that look after it with me are brilliant. So I asked my Facebook group for questions to ask you.
That's so good. I love it.
Yeah. And I just thought, I can ask questions, but my daughter's like 27 now, and I don't know what's going on in the world with children, really. So I've got a few questions from the people in the Facebook group, and the first one is Kim. And the question is, I'm a stay-at-home mum to a 19-month-old, currently trying to get my business up and running. I started it a few weeks ago properly. I would like to know how Caroline managed to balance the childcare with starting the business. I try to work when my baby naps and in evenings, but I find it hard to get quality time in. Sometimes I just get stuck in and suddenly have to go to her after a nap, which is hard. So, have you got any ideas?
Well, firstly, I want to say well done, Kim, for starting up your business. And, that's fantastic. Very, very exciting. And also asking the question, because I think that's really brave, isn't it, Catherine?
Oh, absolutely.
But you're a stay-at-home mum. So I like to make this clear. That's your job. You have a job. So don't beat yourself up that you're also struggling, because we know that being a stay-at-home mum is a job. And I never want to make this clear. So while I said I got fully booked by the summer, the reason the summer was so key for me in 2020 was the nurseries opened up again, and 4 days a week my child was in childcare, and I had a bit of a help on the odd Friday from my cousin who kindly came to help with my son, so I could focus on building my business to take maternity leave. So I want to make that clear. And my goal always was, and always has been, to have childcare help. How that looked for me from 2021 to now, my youngest, my COVID baby, is entering school in September, has changed over the years. And I found it really challenging because he almost died when he was born. So I did guilt myself a lot over childcare. But for us, that has been, I knew I couldn't have got to those 30 people in 2023 without childcare. So he only started nursery 2 days a week at 9 months old. Before then, I had a bit of family help, not much. I've only got my mum, and she couldn't cope with both both the boys. It's just that they were very hard work. But I'd use the David Lloyd. I always shout out about David Lloyd, Catherine, because I hope you listen to my podcast. But there's a creche there where I'd get 2 hours of work nailed. Like sometimes during maternity leave, I used my kit days strategically. But I have built up from 2021, slowly built up from those 2 days. He end of last year went to preschool where he was 5 days in school hours. So I want to say, like, don't beat yourself up. You've got to look after yourself. 19 months old are crazy. They're entering the toddler years. My second didn't do naps in a cot. I just had to admit defeat and walk him everywhere. And, you're doing the best you can. And I think for me, I would have a plan for childcare. What income do you need to earn in order to get those 2 days or mornings or a child mind, whatever that looks like for you, or 3 hours, because I know there's a lot more 3 hours now than when I had my kids. But I know it's not perfect. But I am a believer. Work is work and childcare is work, and trying to do jobs at the same time is setting yourself up for failure.
Another thing once that somebody said that they were lucky enough to have this available to them, but they'd found another mum at a mother and toddler group that also had her own business, and they did a couple of hours a week where they'd swap, they'd have each other's child so that...
That's brilliant.
That's hard to do because you've got to find somebody in business that that is able to do that. But I thought that was a blooming good idea.
That's a fantastic idea. Go on Facebook groups and find your person.
That maybe Kim needs to set up a group like that and do an intro fee.
Yeah.
But I think looking at the finances is a great suggestion, because sometimes we forget, it can seem impossible, but when you look at what the outgoings might be compared to what income you will get from being a VA, you might look at it and think, do you know what? Yeah, I can afford to put him in childcare once a week, and then I can get money in and build my business that way, and then look at more childcare as I get more clients.
And exactly, Catherine, and it can look like, I know people say, oh, it's not worth me going back to work, I only break even. But it's also, if this is your career and you want this business, and so it depends, if that's fine, if that's what you want, you think it's not worth it. But thinking if your kid's going to go to school in 2 years' time, so you're not going to have those childcare outgoings, you're going to then have built a stable business where you've got money and you don't have to worry about finding employment or something like that. So I think we can all get, I do sometimes see tunnel vision of like, oh, this is what I'd be earning now. And it's fine, because if that's because you want to be a stay-at-home mum, you don't want to work, at the minute, that's fine. But I think career is a long-term thing, and some investment, and that's how I always looked at it. So the investment at that point helped me in the long run. And, I get far more flexibility than some of my employed friends who are now back at work post-maternity leave.
Absolutely. I'd never be able to nap as much as I do now if I was employed.
I don't know. You should be a programmer. They seem to nap a lot, those guys.
Oh, really? Yeah, you could just get ChatGPT to write the code from now, can't they? Surely.
So true. Yeah.
I think that was a brilliant starting question. And like you said, very brave of Kim to ask as well. So, and Kim also said that my courses are brilliant. So we absolutely love Kim.
We like Kim.
Another one we like, and it's Shona. And Shona's actually got sort of two questions here. So I'm going to ask them separately, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So the first one is, how do you balance the likes of summer holidays and midterms?
Oh, God, yeah. I'd like to know that too. I can't lie. So I am organised to a T with them and have a spreadsheet. And I tell you what, I don't know what stage Shona is at, but when my son first started school, he's now going into year 4 this September. So it was a couple of years ago now. I found that one of the most stressful things of like, how am I going to do this and plan? And I can't lie, I've spent a lot of money on camps this summer. I'm lucky. I live in a place where there's an abundance of them, but they do cost money. And we've had a really long summer holiday with our school, and it has cost money. So I've done camps. My parents have now just both retired in Cornwall. So we did a week there, and I got some work done as well as them getting childcare. And I just take a work at like tomorrow, we're going to my father-in-law's, so they're not in camp, but I'll try and do a little bit of work there. And I guess it's like you start to get used to the change of routine, and it's either having a savings pot for holidays, who are your support network, and childcare swaps as well, Catherine. I've done a few on pickups and things with some of the school friends. So if you've
Yeah.
got self-employed mums in your classroom, that's a good idea as well, or just mums that work from home, or dads as well. Sorry, I don't need to stereotype, but it's normally the mums that end up organising all of this, let's just say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I still work. I know some people, it's their goal. I think Rebecca Newnham, she's like the founder of Get Ahead. Her goal was to never work the school holidays, which is great. For me, that's not been my goal. But, I take leave and take a bit of holiday. We were away for the first weeks of July. I'm a business owner, and we've gone through a big change with one of my girls going on maternity leave and having to train up some more. So, my leave has looked a bit different this year. But know what your goal is. Is your goal, are you asking because you don't want to work some holidays, which is fine? Like, what sort of clients would be happy with that? And if you know Europe, they shut down in August. So I'd be going after French clients.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because if you only work during term time, you are very, very limited on the
Yeah.
clients that you could possibly get. I think it could be a long-term goal for many people. I mean, I know Rebecca Newnham, she's got a team now, hasn't she? She does
Yeah.
franchises as well, I think, doesn't she?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could have been strategic with her business plan as well.
Yeah, so she may have had that long-term goal and she worked towards that. So it is always great to have a long-term goal, and just to know that it's okay not to hit your goals immediately.
Yeah.
In fact, it's almost impossible,
Oh,
because if you're
definitely.
alone, because if you're a lone VA trying to just work term time, I can see that being quite difficult, because you'd have to let your clients go, and then they may not have been happy to have that break, so they may have found another VA, and if so, then you would have needed to have continued to keep marketing during half term so that you're getting inquiries in. So you would have had to have dealt with inquiries, so you could never just
Switch
shut
off.
down.
No,
No.
no, I agree with that.
I absolutely hate the summer holidays. I was a single parent,
Oh,
and I absolutely hated the summer holidays, or any holidays. And I think they're absolutely pointless, because they're just not realistic to, like, that transition from college or from uni to work is horrific,
yeah,
because first of all, it's the hours. The hours are completely different to whatever uni or college or school was. And then you're like, 2/3 of your holiday allowance has been taken away as well, because you're given,
yeah,
like, 4 days holiday and 4 weeks holiday and 8 bank holidays if you're lucky. It's
yeah,
just, I think this is why so many people just really hate the 9 till 5, because they've not had any kind of transition to it. And another reason the summer holidays really do affect women primarily. I
yeah,
know there are many, many single men, and it will be affecting them too, and a lot of men that are the main carers, and it'll affect those as well. But I speak predominantly about women because I'm a woman, and because that's what I understand. I don't want to speak for men as well. But it continuously tries to hold us back. And I think this is, by starting your own VA business, you're really taking control, and you're really showing that women can have it all. We
mm,
can do it all.
mm.
It's We're phenomenal.
We are. We are. Is all I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely. It's so much on our shoulders still, and going against us, and so I want to, make that clear to anyone, in motherhood and struggling to try and get through this.
I mean, being a mum is one of the worst jobs, I think, because you're bullied by your toddlers. It's
Yeah.
toxic. They're screaming at you at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's everything that, the stress. But all right. So Shona's other question was great as well. I like questions like this. Is there anything you regret doing when started, or anything you're so pleased you did from the start?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. I am really pleased I went with the maternity leave and handed all my clients to associates because, as you heard my first story, I didn't take much and I really beat myself up about it. I've started to realize I don't think maternity leave is for me, and that's absolutely fine. But my second, we ended up in a neonatal intensive care away from home with a baby who almost died. And so I'm I don't like to say this to scare anyone because it's rare what happened to him, but you'll never regret planning for something. And also when I loved the newborn stage with my first, so I was also rare in that. I was very switched off from the world because I was just obsessed with him. And I think either way that it's a good plan to be switched off. And my husband messaged Sue, my wonderful community manager, and the contact, and was like, Caroline's not going to be around. And so I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And then for, giving myself, I just would have switched off anyway, when you're in that moment you are. So I'm really proud of me for making the right decision and not trying to work. I don't really like listening to stories where they're like, I was answering emails while giving birth. And I'm like, there's no medal for that.
No.
I was not answering emails while giving birth. I was very much focusing on giving birth because it hurts.
I remember laying there thinking, why is that woman in the room next to me screaming like that? I didn't have a clue what was coming.
Why is she making a racket?
Her father, my daughter's father, wouldn't let me go to the NCT classes, so I had no idea what was coming. I just thought I'd tease and that was it. But
bless you.
So we've done 40 minutes already, Caroline. Have you got time for...
I do.
Oh, thank you so much. So the next one's from Rebecca. And first of all, I read this, that she's got a 23-year-old, and I thought, surely she's got into a routine now.
Yeah, surely the 20.
Yeah, surely she's not needing too much attention. So as a mum to a 23-month-old, I'd love to hear how Caroline manages to do it all without burning out, or how do you cope with burnout?
Oh, great question. Because I had a burnout doctor on my podcast recently, and speaking to her and learning her journey, realized I'd actually had burnout during pregnancy with my first, and that agency I spoke about, which it takes a long time to recover from real burnout, and especially if you're navigating parenting. And mums are at most of risk of burnout, by the way, I found out in this call. So it really is something to be aware of. And I do, because of what I said happened to my little boy, it turned out it took a long time, but I had PTSD and I had a lot of work I had to do on myself to properly recover, which is really, really hard when you're running a business and have a baby and a toddler. And, and I was a bit abandoned by the NHS, who then supported me in getting sorted with EMDR for my trauma and things. And since then, because I didn't get help at first, I had to help myself. And so I am actually really big on meditation, breath work, communicating to my husband when I need time. And so I'm not superwoman. I'm not managing it all. I have a team who help me with things business wise. I have a wonderful cleaner who clearly is off this week because my study is an absolute mess, but once a week, who also helps me organize things around the house. And she's brilliant. I'm so lucky. And so I'm always like to make this clear. I'm not doing it all. And also my husband does all the cooking. Great. But I'm really, really about you don't get a medal for being a martyr. You don't get a medal for being a burnt out mum because you're too busy with everyone else and not yourself. It's that old cheesy thing of you got to put your own mask on to look after everyone else. And trust me, since I looked after myself, since I got the therapy for the trauma and everything like that, I've been a better mother. And that's only because I worked on myself, on how to regulate myself, on how to sort my regulation system, to do my breath work, meditation, gratitude journaling. I'm a big fan of that, just a sentence in the morning. And it's helped me be more grateful for things. And I'm a better mum. And that's, as cheesy as it sounds, it takes work to look after yourself. And I did the work on that once I knew I needed help.
Absolutely. And I think I often don't realize I'm burnt out until it's too late.
Yeah.
And I did struggle massively. My mental health went to a very dark place. I'd been through the chemo and obviously that was designed to attack my brain because I've got the brain tumor, and things really took a nosedive. And I asked for help through my doctor, and I just thought he'd give me some more antidepressants. And he put me in touch, or referred me to a Swindon mental health team.
Oh,
And I
wow.
thought, well, I don't hold out much luck. They get bad reports and what have you. But somebody phoned me, I think it was in like 72 hours. And I didn't remember, I don't remember the guy's name, but he was like, "Oh, have you ever tried mindset
Right.
work,
Yeah.
mindfulness?" And I
Mindfulness.
said
Yeah.
something like that, yeah. And I said, "Oh, I'm not somebody that's gonna sit with my legs crossed and count to 10. I can't do that." And he said, "No, it could be other things like art. Do you like
Yeah.
drawing or anything?" And I tell you what, Caroline, this was February, and there are watercolor paintings you cannot move
Oh,
from all round my house. Now,
good.
it's not art, it's getting ridiculous now. It's get But it is, I guess, like, for you, it's the journaling and it's the breath work and
Yeah.
things like that. There is something for all of us, and
Yeah.
I thought the stereotype was I'd have to sit there and with my legs crossed, or, do some Pilates. I'm not doing any of that. That wasn't what I wanted to do. But drawing and painting, oh my goodness me.
Yeah.
And I think something else you said as well was about communicating, because
Yeah.
I still struggle with that. I
Mhm.
was on my own for many, many years with my daughter, and I had nobody to communicate to that would listen and would give good advice. But my partner is incredible, and I still sometimes leave it days before I will share something with him. But then as soon as I've shared it, you can almost feel the
Oh
tension.
gosh, yeah.
It just
Yeah.
goes, doesn't it? And I think if you are on your own, or if you feel that there isn't somebody at home that will understand, then, don't hesitate to utilize my Facebook group and post anonymously.
Mhm.
There is always somebody in there that's going through the same, or has done, or knows somebody else that can help. There is always help when you feel things are just like, I can't
Yeah.
do it anymore.
And you might, and it's starting, and then you'll start to get better at learning about sharing. Because I think there was one time, so I went on a call with someone, and they were like, "Why do you look sad?" And I didn't know I was, and then I burst into tears. And it can take time to know, like, how to learn to know when your feelings aren't good.
Yeah, because you think you should be doing it all.
Yeah.
And this is there's another question here from Caitlin, and I wasn't sure whether to ask it because I thought that we'd probably have covered it in something else, but there was a second part to her question, and it's about kind of, she wants to set up the business, she can't afford nursery fees.
Yeah.
So do I quit my job? We're on universal credit whilst I'm building the business. My concern is once I get clients is how to fit the work around little one. So we've covered that, but she's also said she's trying to move closer to family for babysitting help, and dad can take her out for a few hours, but there's always the household stuff to fit in too. Now, I'm going to say something that Caitlin may have already thought of, but it's sometimes it's little things like, "Do you know what? Your clothes don't need ironing.
Yeah.
Stuff it. They don't need doing." I'm just throwing things out there. I'm just
Yeah.
making stuff up. Does the house need cleaning every week, or could it go fortnightly? I only have my cleaner here once a month
Yeah.
because it's just too much for me to cope with somebody being coming in every week. And I don't care anymore. I can see the dust, I don't care.
Yeah.
Does it, let things go? I think we sometimes, when we've got a child as well, we want the house to be perfect for them.
Yeah, I don't think Instagram helps with this. And actually, I was thinking about this yesterday because the house is a right tip right now. But, I was just getting on with it. But I was thinking about when I had my first, it's really weird you bring this up. I really was thinking about this yesterday. When I had my first baby, I remember sat there stressing because I wanted the dishwasher unloading before my husband got home and my mum wasn't doing it. And I was like, if I could see my house now.
Yeah.
Versus then, and, like, it shows Caroline back then, the dishwasher didn't need doing.
It's funny, isn't it? It is funny. We worry that we've been at home all day and our partner's been out at work. And well, this I'm thinking back to when my daughter was little. I'd been at home all day, and I would worry that he'd almost walk through the door, and I'd be like, "I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that."
Yeah.
'Cause it's
Is
yeah,
that
I
sort
think
of toxic productivity when you were looking after your child, not
Yeah.
having to do everything.
Yeah.
And
Abs-
especially when children often, like my second was terrible at being put down. There were times I literally couldn't do anything because he would just want me to pick him up. And,
Jeez.
and this was when he was out of the age of a carrier. We're not talking about a baby carrier, solvable one.
So it's like almost like piggyback time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do think I sometimes see, and I think it's hard when you transition to motherhood. I actually was thinking about this. I see this a lot with some business owners online who are childless, and they're very productivity focused and how optimizing their time constantly and doing this and doing this. And I'm like, motherhood just doesn't work well with that frame of mind. Like organized. I'd like things well done, but honestly, Catherine, you should see the mess. I've got two dinosaurs sat behind me, a water pistol. I said to my husband this morning, thank goodness this isn't a video podcast, and that's the reality. But
Two
and that
dinosaurs sat behind you.
one of them, I'll send you a picture, Catherine. Like,
Yeah.
to show you, they both look dead. I don't know what's happened to them, but
But we should so on the podcast image, I've got you and me on it. Maybe we'll change it to the dinosaurs
the dead
instead.
dinosaurs. Yeah. You should. So that's the reality. It's like, I've kindly been invited on a podcast. That's more important for me than tidying up the dead dinosaurs.
Love it. I absolutely love it. That's all the questions from the Facebook group. But I had one question myself, if you don't mind.
Oh,
So all my life, people that have only just met me, or even people that have known me for a little while, call me Caroline. Do you get called Catherine?
v- very occasionally. No, when you get called Caroline, you get called Carol. And that annoys me because it's a completely different name.
Completely different name.
Thank
Some
you.
people, sometimes I get DMs on LinkedIn.
That's so
Hi, Kath.
true. Kath. Oh, Kath.
Uh,
Yeah.
Hello? When did we become best mates? Literally just connected, and no, I don't want your aloe vera juice.
That's so good. No,
No,
that's so funny. I didn't know that. I need to. My cousin's called Catherine. I need to ask, but she's a Katie, so she does do that.
oh, no, see? I've always had it. I don't go to my hairdresser that I'm gonna refer to in a minute anymore because she works from home and I can't get there, but I'd been going to her for years. I'd walk in, "Hi, Caroline," and she'd go, "Oh, no, it's Catherine." "Hi, Catherine." It's
Like they're very different names, aren't they?
yeah, funny. Absolutely funny.
That's so funny. But it's funny. I've not really experienced that the other way around.
No.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear from other Catherines whether you've endured this discrimination,
I think that's
basically.
a podcast in itself, Catherine.
Yeah. Yeah, if you email me at podcast@catherinegladwyn.co.uk, I'd like to know your experiences. Right. Caroline, I've taken nearly an hour. I promised you it would be, it'll only be a half hour, 45 minutes.
Oh, I'm really bad at keeping to time when it comes to talking. Sorry.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry. It's my fault. But I just wanted to end with I've said to you before, and we thank you every time, but you very, very generously share a lot of associate opportunities in the Facebook group.
Oh,
And
thank you.
no, we are so grateful. So, so grateful. And I do
Thank
work
you for your
really
wonderful
hard.
group. It's a great group. I'm really appreciative of.
We do try and work hard to sort of
I
train in inverted commas, make sure that people, only applying for things that they can actually do.
Yeah.
So we hope the quality does stay high. But we often get, not from Caroline, but we often get 5 or 6 job opportunities a day, which is
amazing.
is
And it's no mean
ridiculous.
feat organising a community like yours.
Well, I couldn't do it without me rockers, honestly. I can just switch off sometimes. But
That's
yeah.
amazing.
No, if any of the listeners aren't in the Facebook group, come on in and check out how great Caroline looks in cobalt blue. And what is your podcast? I've got it written down
Oh,
here.
to business owner,
Bump to Business Owner. Please subscribe to that after you've subscribed to mine.
of course.
And Caroline, it's been wonderful, and I hope that we can do more together in the future. I
I'd
love
love
it.
to. I've really enjoyed this, Catherine. Thank you so much for using your community to get the questions. They're amazing. It's always nice to know what new mums are thinking and juggling. And Catherine, it's been a pleasure to actually connect with you properly as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you're ready to reclaim your independence, then subscribe to this podcast because there is so much I'm going to give you. You've got to subscribe on your favourite channel, it says. What channel? I ain't going to be on the BBC, am I?